Welcome to Trivia Clips. Think you know everything about Deep Purple? The pioneers of heavy rock and hard riffs? Let's dive into 10 explosive true or false questions to test your knowledge. You have 5 seconds to answer. True or false? 1. Deep Purple was originally formed in Germany. You have 5 seconds to answer. True or false? Correct answer. False. Deep Purple was formed in England in 1968. The founding members were from London and nearby areas. They were part of the British rock explosion of the late 60s. The band quickly gained a reputation for loud, heavy music. Germany became important later for their tours and fan base. 2. Smoke on the Water was inspired by a fire during a Frank Zappa concert. You have 5 seconds to answer. True or false? Correct answer. True. The band witnessed a fire at a Frank Zappa show in Switzerland. It broke out when someone fired a flare gun into the ceiling. The event happened at the Montreux casino by Lake Geneva. Deep Purple wrote "Smoke on the Water" about that experience. It became one of the most iconic rock songs ever. 3. The band was originally called Roundabout. You have 5 seconds to answer. True or false? Correct answer. True. Roundabout was the project name before Deep Purple. The name reflected a rotating group of musicians. Ritchie Blackmore was part of the early idea. The name was later changed to Deep Purple. It was inspired by a song Blackmore's grandmother loved. Ian Gillan was the original vocalist of the band. You have 5 seconds to answer. True or false? Correct answer. False. The original singer was Rod Evans. He sang on the band's first 3 albums. Ian Gillan joined later for the Mark II lineup. That's when the band reached peak success. Gillan's voice defined their signature sound. 5. Deep Purple once held a Guinness World Record for loudest concert. You have 5 seconds to answer. True or false? Correct answer. True. In 1972, Deep Purple set the record in London. Their show measured 117 decibels, breaking records. Fans reportedly passed out from the volume. It led to complaints and some hearing issues. The band became legendary for their raw power. 6. Highway Star was written in the studio over several months. You have 5 seconds to answer. True or false? Correct answer. False. It was written on a tour bus in just minutes. Ritchie Blackmore and Ian Gillan came up with it on the spot. They were asked how they write songs, so they demonstrated. It became a live favorite and a hard rock anthem. Sometimes creativity strikes without warning. 7. Ritchie Blackmore left Deep Purple to form Rainbow. You have 5 seconds to answer. True or false? Correct answer. True. In 1975, Blackmore left due to creative differences. He wanted a more classical and fantasy-inspired sound. He formed Rainbow with Ronnie James Dio on vocals. Rainbow became a major band in its own right. His departure marked a turning point for Deep Purple. 8. Deep Purple never broke up. You have 5 seconds to answer. True or false? Correct answer. False. The band disbanded in 1976 after internal tensions. They later reunited in 1984 with their classic lineup. Since then, they've had various lineup changes. Despite breakups, they kept returning stronger. Their legacy spans decades of reinvention. 9. Deep Purple was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2016. You have 5 seconds to answer, true or false. Correct answer, true. They were finally inducted after years of delay. Fans and musicians campaigned for their inclusion. Only some members were officially recognized. Even so, the honor celebrated their huge impact. It was a long overdue moment of respect. 10. The band's first hit in the US was Hush. You have 5 seconds to answer. True or false? Correct answer. True. Hush was released in 1968 and reached number 4 on US charts. It featured Rod Evans on vocals. The song helped launch their international career. Written by Joe South, it had a psychedelic feel. It's still a fan favorite in their live shows. End of part 1. You got this far. Nice work. Ready for 10 more? Let's continue with part 2 of the Deep Purple Challenge. You have 5 seconds to answer. True or false?